Hey guys, Jimmy Davis here, and these are my top 50 favorite YouTube poops from 2017. I want to try to keep this intro short, but I do have a few quick things I need to point out first. First, I want to point out that this is my own subjective list of favorite YouTube poops from 2017, not necessarily the ones that I think are objectively the best. If I left out a few that you think that I should have added, it's not because I forgot it, it's just probably because I either didn't see it or I didn't enjoy it as much as you did. If there were a couple of YouTube poops that you thought should have been on this list that weren't on this list, you can always just leave me a comment and then I can check them out from there. But I didn't forget anything because, like I said, this is my list and not yours. Just like my list of favorite YouTube poops from 2016, I'm only including one poop per pooper. Because if I included more than that, I could probably fill up this entire list with just a handful of YouTube poopers. And this way there's 50 different YouTube poopers for you guys to check out now. And odds are pretty good that there's going to be at least one YouTube pooper that you have not heard of before. Also, just like my 2016 list, ordering this list was very difficult for me to do. I think I'll probably look back on this even within just like a week and think that I should have switched around a couple of poops. But I can't really waste all that time reordering the list over and over. I should just get this list finished and done. I like all the poops on this list, it's just sometimes, like, maybe this one should have been replaced with this one in the ordering, whatever. You know what I mean. It's very difficult for me to definitively order which ones I liked better than the others. And lastly, I feel like I should probably clarify why I'm doing this, because I'm sure if I don't, then some people will freak out. But the way that I'm going to be showing every YouTube poop on here, the video is going to be cropped and skewed slightly with a border around it. And the reason that I'm doing that is because when I did my 2016 list, after I finished rendering and uploading it and all that, the thought hit me that Fox or Viacom, if they wanted to, could come along and just block the entire video based off of like 2 seconds of a YouTube poop. And then I'd have to re-render and re-upload the whole thing, which that process alone took, I think it was like 2 full days to get that done. So I want to try to avoid any risks of that happening this time. It hasn't happened with the last list, but it still technically could. But I'm hoping that by cropping and skewing it, that will make it so that I won't run into any risks of Fox or Viacom claiming it. So that's pretty much everything I needed to point out before getting into it. When the video's done, make sure you check out the playlist, which I'll be linking at the end of the video as well as in the description. If you watch every single video back to back, it's something like 4 hours, like just short of 4 hours worth of YouTube poops. So I don't expect anybody to do that all in one sitting, but I do recommend everybody checking out all of the YouTube poops eventually. I'm sure, there's a big variety of YouTube poops, story-based, joke-based, visual ones, whatever, so I'm sure not everybody's going to like every single YouTube poop, but considering that there's 50 YouTube poops, I'm sure everybody's going to like at least 1 or 2 from there, and I'd recommend checking out every single one of them, at least just to give it a chance. But anyway, I guess that's really all I needed to say, so let's get into the list. Alright, before I get into the list, I do have one quick honorable mention that I want to show you guys.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna throw me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed.
Now the main reason that I decided to not include this in the actual list itself is because it's a YTPMV, and I wasn't taking those into consideration when I was making this list. But the main reason I decided to keep it in here as an honorable mention is just because of the channel who uploaded this. This video was uploaded by The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. And they obviously don't call it a YTPMV, but I mean that's what it is. If I were to upload this as a YTPMV, I don't think anybody would question it. But anyway, I don't really have much to say about this one. It was just kind of interesting to see this uploaded by The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon.
And all that glitter is gold. Shooting stars.
You got me a handshake?
Okay, I'm gonna be brutally honest here for a second. This one only just barely made the list. It's kind of a mixed bag, to be honest. There are some parts that go on for way too long, and some parts that just aren't really that funny. But then again, there are some really funny parts, and some really good editing mixed in here as well.
What the fuck is going on out here?
We were performing a ritual.
This is a fairly new YouTube pooper, so I'm giving him a little bit of a pass here, because I think they show really good potential. And I obviously don't dislike this video, I'm just letting you guys know all that beforehand, so when you go and you're not expecting something amazing. It's not great, but it's also not bad. It shows great potential, and that's why I put it on this list.
So have fun with the job.
Patrick.
Yeah, SpongeBob.
Mr. Krabs sure has a lot of expensive treasures to drip paint on.
He's making the wrong face! He's making the wrong fucking face! He's making the wrong face!
There's not really a ton that I can say about this one, but if you're familiar with Chemistry Guy's style, I think you'll really enjoy this video.
It's the emoji movie. It's a movie about emojis. And I said, meh. Why would someone do that? And they said, well, meh. And I said, mess.
Also, it's kind of a breath of fresh air to see a Chemistry Guy video from 2017 that didn't involve Donald Trump. At least, mostly didn't involve Donald Trump.
Wrong fucking face.
Bitch.
The game is fun game. Where's the hits and ass? Bad enough, you fail.
Might Eyes is one of those YouTube poopers who's been around for years, but doesn't really have the recognition that I think he deserves. This video isn't necessarily his best work, but I do think it's a good example of the type of videos that he makes. Also, he didn't really do much in 2017, so this was really my only choice to have him on here.
Gee, it sure is fucking boring around here.
What the fuck did you say?
Hi everyone, welcome to this free things to you. It may lower your IQ and will continue to deliver French fries directly to you. Let me assassinate Bill. Oh, great, Bill.
This is one of the last YouTube poops to come from Mega Robot Man before he retired in early 2017. And although I have a little bit of trouble making out some of the sentence mixing in this video, overall I think this is a really great video and probably my favorite from Mega Robot Man.
While we wait for Zelda's big year and I'll be whopping off to Zelda's big boobies.
He may not be making any more YouTube poops, but if you haven't already checked him out, definitely check out Mega Robot Man.
Each time I'm asking you.
Yes, they are all Oriental kids.
So here's a YouTube poop coming from a YouTube pooper who started back in 2015. And this is only their 4th YouTube poop they've ever made. And it's actually the first YouTube poop they've uploaded since their entry to my Fruity Stories 2 YTP collab. Which, by the way, their entry was one of the only entries that wasn't absolutely garbage.
Cute little one. Everybody go. Oh, come on.
And although this video is a little bit slow here and there, I think there's enough good in this video to make it worth the recommendation.
Say, how'd you like to give a McDonald's
Voodoo doll
for Christmas?
Yes.
This one's a little bit of a mixed bag, to be honest. I'd say for about the first half, it's a little bit weak, but then once it gets to the second half, then it really starts to pick up.
Little Tommy Tucker sings for his butter. What shall we give him? White bread and butter. How shall he cut it without a butter? How will he marry without a butter? What? 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 Well, technically it's P.
Pineapple, apple, peace.
It's not without its problems, but I do think that for sure the good more than outweighs the bad.
And everything seems okay until this bit.
1516 maids in the kitchen.
Your Majesty, do you know what day it is?
What day?
It is Cooper's birthday.
Oh, yes, let's all send him presents.
When I first started sorting out this list, I thought for sure this was going to be one of the videos that was going to be pushed off of the list because it's under a minute long. But from rewatching it, it's actually a really entertaining video for how short and simple the premise is. And the main reason I decided to keep it on here is because this is honestly some of the best sentence mixing I've ever heard. I think it's only rivaled by like I Teach Vader. It's just that good.
What's this?
Bombs?
Ah, Morshu, what the hell? Oh, no!
Then, of course, you won't be able to play with a snow bear. But...
What?
Oh, it's a great game to play with it. But...
How do you play? How do you play?
Well. First...
No! Stop that! Stop blowing her!
It's not easy to let other people play with your butt, is it?
This one has a good variety of poopisms, but the highlight for sure are the sentence mixing jokes.
Well, that's an awfully big sandwich for such a little bitch.
What? No. Goodbye.
Baba, black sheep, have you any wool?
No. Goodbye.
It doesn't even rhyme. What the heck?
So this YouTube poop was recommended to me by somebody on Twitter, I believe, and I'm really glad I decided to check the video out. It's pretty short and overall technically pretty simple, but for what it is, it's a really, really good video.
Hey, TW!
And the creator of this YouTube poop doesn't have very many subscribers. At the time of recording this, he only has 63 subscribers. So hopefully this video and this playlist and everything will help change that.
And I sing, hi,
A time for leisure. A time for seizure. Unless you're me.
I guess I don't really have too much to say about this one, but if you like Yoshi Maniacs YTPs, I think you'll definitely like this one. And if you've never seen Yoshi Maniacs YTPs before, this is probably a good place to start.
My sister tended to look on the bright side of things.
Yay! Grass!
Boo!
Oh boy, Squidward! I'm joking! Oh boy, did I miss it?
The Guru Penguin is a relatively new YouTube pooper, only starting about mid-2016, but so far I really like his YouTube poops.
Now! Wow! Huh? Yes. Now!
Are you sure?
What?
Ready yet?
Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
I guess I don't really have too much to say about this one, other than the fact that I thought it was a good, enjoyable YouTube poop.
What? Oh no!
2 2s later.
Oh my goodness!
With a degree in archaeology and a passion for sex, I have a tendency to end up in some very deep shit.
I'm Bored 777 is probably one of the most underrated YouTube poop channels I know of. All of his videos from what I've seen are great, yet none of them really get any views.
As we head out to sea, we're cruising in the shadow of 2 extremely active volcanoes, one of which is still smoking. Even more alarming, I have taken shit. Even more alarming, I have shit in my underwear. Whole world was watching, and I shit myself.
I guess my only real complaint when it comes to his videos, and this one in particular, are the fact that they don't really have endings so much as they just kind of stop abruptly. But I guess when you're watching a YouTube poop, that doesn't really matter. It's just more of a minor nitpick. Otherwise, this is a really good YouTube poop.
I got a bone down here. I got a direct penis.
My goodness.
You won't believe this!
Just forget about how you feel about the show Steven Universe, because odds are they're pretty strong feelings, and just focus on this YouTube poop, which happens to be a very visually impressive and funny YouTube poop.
Suddenly...
Later. This is also apparently the final YouTube poop that's going to be coming from this channel, Pizza Problems, which kinda sucks considering that I just found the channel. But either way, I'm glad that I found it when I did.
Can't all be winners.
38, 9, 9, 10, 9, 10, 6, never end. You can't touch my riches, even if you had every hammer and the
I hope my analysis reveals something about its makeup.
Give your meat a good old
Yeah, Yet another underrated YouTube poop channel, here is Kier Epton's 600 subscriber special.
I want you fuck you and come on your tits.
This one does admittedly start out a little bit slow, but it definitely picks up the more you get into it. If you stick with it, it's more than worth it.
And I found it, and I found it, most, and I found it, most, and I found it, most.
Wilfred, if you want to get better,
I'm gonna get.
Is your car a mess? Can't find your glasses? Can't reach your phone?
Then you suck.
Hi, Billy Mays here for Mario Peaches Pie. The most important product I have ever endorsed.
Pizza Pie Overlord really stepped up his game in 2017, and I think this is a great example of his editing skills. Also, it's just cool to see a YouTube poop centered around Billy Mays made in 2017.
Hi, it's Billy.
Hey, Carla.
Nope, it's Billy.
I need you over at the studio for a production meeting.
Nope, see ya. In my car, the Jack Jupiter is the only system. Go away, Carla. I'm talking right now. In my car, the Jack Jupiter. You kidding me? What do you want?
I need you over at the studio for a production meeting.
No problem, Carla. Be there in 20 minutes. See ya.
Okay.
I like. Ha 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 ha.
I loved every second of this video, and I don't even speak Finnish. I don't know for sure if it'd be better if you understood Finnish or not, but all I know is that it's still really entertaining either way, especially when it gets to this part where I don't even know what's going on.
Fish falling through. See? I have no idea what I'm doing.
This is a great Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog YouTube poop that borrows enough from classic Robotnik YouTube poops to make it feel like a nice homage, but still keeps it modern enough so that it doesn't feel outdated. On top of that, it has some really well-polished editing as well as a wide variety of poopisms ranging from stutter loops to ear rape to sentence mixing to YTPMVs.
See you next.
If you haven't checked out Ryan YTP before, this is a really great place to start.
Your turn is spin. Robotic.
Okay. No one gets Robotnik interrupt. No one. And the hand. Work. It's my new work. Pneumatic tunnelizer and terrible tunnel terrorizer. Pneumatic terrorizer and what have you got? Piles of penis.
I may have already said something similar to this in my list from last year, but the Big L1's editing style really reminds me of classic YTP in the best possible way. There's just something about the fast-paced stutter loops, repeats, and sentence mixing that really gives a video high energy, and there's never a dull moment.
Jet fuel can't melt steel beams. A bundle of memes. Who are you running from?
Hold it! So what you're saying is, if your father left you... Oh my! This is more serious than I thought!
Considering that this is the shortest video on this list, there's not really a ton I can say about this one, and when I first started making this list, I didn't think I was going to keep it on the list, let alone keep it this high up on the list. But for what it is, it made me laugh, kept me entertained, and made me want to come back and rewatch it, so it's more than earned its spot on this list.
Tell me about your child.
How about you? When I was out blue, what glue? What could I do?
Oh dear.
That did not happen.
Chocolate with Nuts is probably one of the most overused SpongeBob episodes to be used in YouTube poops, and yet Waltman13 somehow managed to make an actually good Chocolate with Nuts YouTube poop in 2017.
Sir, could we interest you in
No, drugs are bad.
Okay, well, how about
chocolate?
chocolate?
What the fuck is chocolate?
My only real issue with this one is that the audio from the actual episode is much quieter than the audio from the other sources, and so that's a little bit jarring when you switch between sources, but if you can overlook that, it's definitely a really good poop overall.
You can keep that for
A small loan of $1 million.
what?
I don't have that kind of money. Rip-off artist.
Who, man?
He's coming straight from the underground.
Checkers run, checkers run.
Simpson, you're my lunch.
Look at me! I'm Homer Simpson!
From the second this poop starts, it never lets up. It's incredibly fast-paced with a lot of stutter loops, and I'm sure not everybody like that, but for me, I personally really enjoyed it.
Now I'm returning to work without my hands. Well, with you, what up? People flat on my sick girl. Well, with you, what up? Go.
We're selling LSD. Would you like to buy one? Just smell it. Squidward? You okay? Squidward?
This one's more story-based than it is comedy-driven. In fact, there's really only a couple jokes in the entire thing. But the editing in this is really good, and the masking looks really good as well.
We have to confess!
Confess? Are you out of your mind? Do you have any idea what they do to people like us? We're not talking about some dumb mail fraud schemer hijacking here.
If I have one complaint, it is a little bit weird how the scenes kind of fade out at the end and then fade back in on the next scene. It looks kind of jarring, almost like it's a compilation of like video game cutscenes, like there should be gameplay in between the fade-ins and fade-outs, but it's not a huge deal, I just figured I'd point that out.
Hello, what's this? Donate to the children's fund? Why? What have children ever done for me? Please, go away.
Your Majesty.
Pingus Inc. is a relatively new channel that just started in July of 2017, but they are already becoming a really good story-based YouTube poop channel. My only real issue with their poops so far is that their sentence mixing is a little bit difficult to understand at times, but that's something that I'm sure they'll work out as time goes on.
You have 1 month. And I hope you...
Hello, King. The Triforce says your cousin is alright.
If you're at all a fan of my story-based CDI YouTube poops, I think you'll really like Pingus Inc.
What the hell can I made you the greatest cousin?
I want fish. I'm sorry, Thomas. Engines don't eat fish, said the fish controller. I want fish. No. Right. I'll show you. Quick, get the dog.
Oi, you!
Holy crap, this YouTube poop has some amazing looking animation, as well as some really funny jokes to go along with it. In fact, the only reason why this YouTube poop isn't higher up on the list is because I kind of feel like it's a little bit too long for my taste. And there's some parts here and there where the editing becomes really minimum, but other than that, it's a really, really good YouTube poop, and it might just be because I'm not familiar with the source material that I didn't find it super entertaining in some of the more minimal edited parts. But otherwise, I can't recommend this poop or this channel enough.
He has been found guilty first of having a very hot cock. Second, of stealing a rogue one DVD. But I am just far. So do your very worst and go fuck yourself. What?
It's just weird to see you looking dead.
To protect the world.
Isn't this great, Misty?
I can do this! I can do this! Don't tell me! Don't tell me! Don't tell me! Wrong!
This YTP, like many of the YTPs from this channel, is a bit of an endurance test. But if you're a fan of fast-paced, visual-heavy YouTube poops, you'll definitely really like this one, because this has some really good visual editing.
Come on, E.T., make us fly! Make us fly!
It's impossible. I mean, why is it so hard? I mean, I guess because they were trying.
Princess to invite us over for a game.
Look! Luigi! Look! He's new! Look!
Deary me. Sorry, I'm just going to kill it so it doesn't attack me in my sleep.
Ashens is one of those YouTube channels that I've seen many people talk about over the past decade or so, but I've never actually taken the time to watch any of his videos before. So when I first saw this YouTube poop pop up in my subscription feed, I didn't think I was going to like it at first, but I did end up really liking it.
Oh. Moving swiftly on, how about this?
It has a lot of relatively simple edits, but they're very well done simple edits, and it's a very entertaining YouTube poop the whole way through.
Well, maybe he's making this noise. Oh.
I had a beautiful room. The employees were so beautiful. Everything was perfect. Until I got the bill. $25 for a hamburger.
There's honestly not really a whole lot I can say about this one. It's just overall a really good YouTube poop with a lot of really funny sentence mixing in it.
Hey, what the f***? You're Squidward? Yeah. Quit! You can't quit!
I miss the old Kanye, straight from the go.
Welcome to the crystal
Squidward!
What's that noise?
William has some of the most cinematic editing I've ever seen from anybody in the YouTube poop community. So here's a YouTube poop that's mostly random nonsense.
I can't stand it anymore!
Watch this, watch this, watch this.
Yeah, you blue furry!
You don't have to be nasty.
Let's go, Scratch! Let's go, Scratch! Let's get him, Scratch! Let's...
Not so fast!
Whenever it's supposed to feel cinematic, it looks really, really good, and whenever it's supposed to just be random nonsense, it's still really funny and entertaining.
Sonic. Sonic.
I'm 6 years old. Shall I feed you? Feed this, old man. Feed this, old man. Feed this, feed this, feed this, old man. I'm tired of playing sex to a man who...
I respect you, man.
Overall, this is a good YouTube poop, but the main reason why it's this high up on the list is for the fight scene, which is really well edited and very entertaining to watch.
Super acquaintances, attack!
Now, I know you've sunk a lot of money into the dual portal device, but I'm here to tell you the dual portal device does not work, and we are almost bankrupt. So just make those checks out to cash. We're done here.
J.K. Simmons here. We're banging rocks together, and it's expensive as hell.
Not really much to say about this one since it's mostly sentence mix jokes, but the sentence mix jokes in here are really good, and whenever there is a visual joke, those are really good as well.
Gentlemen, I give you the long boot. Think of it as a foot-based suit of armor for the foot... Damn it! Check this out. We told this test subject to just go ahead and try to land on her boots. She can't do it.
We must destroy the Chancellor.
What?
Master Windu.
Fucking Chancellor.
Are you going to kill me?
Yes. Okay.
If you've never watched any of Trailer Pooper's Star Wars YouTube poops, you're really missing out. Although they do all work together to tell one continuous story, you don't necessarily need to have seen any of the previous Star Wars YouTube poops to be able to enjoy this one. That being said, if you like this one, definitely check out Trailer Pooper's other Star Wars YouTube poops.
Nice of the princess to invite us over for a...
I'm pretty sure this YouTube poop makes use of almost every single poopism that's ever been invented. If you like YouTube poops at all, you're going to be able to find at least one thing in this YouTube poop that you enjoy. As for me, I enjoyed all of it.
He died in the most tame way possible. Riding a shit
Animal style.
with 250 pounds of dynamite strapped to his chest.
On a filthy lagoon.
In a different postcode behind two.
Cool.
And
In a pineapple under the depths of hell.
Inside
John's
apartment within Robotnik's very expensive, magnificent, and opulent but
Inside a giant simulation. Into the mouth of an active volcano.
in the middle of nowhere.
It was glorious.
You'll find no cameramen, soundmen, engineers choose Motorola. One of the reasons is Motorola's curved screen that eliminates up to 98% of all pictures. For example, on the Motorola TV, you can see...
I'm sure a lot of people are going to be wondering why I put this YouTube poop on my list instead of CS188's Flex Tape YouTube poop, and the answer is simple. I like this one more. There was just something about the simplicity of this one with the running jokes that I found to be really entertaining.
Your dealer will gladly give you a free home demonstration of extreme, stunning gaze as hold sets. Ask him about the truly generous four-deck combination, initiation.
You're an asshole.
What a faggot!
Yeah, well, you're boring.
What did you say,
Pole.
You are a worthless, friendless, faggot little piece of shit.
At least I got arms and legs. You don't even got it.
Do you think he's going to A, a B, a
Penis,
or C, a
wiener,
Neck.
oh,
I'm going to keep this short and simple. If you like meme replacements and reference jokes as much as I do, then you're going to love this video, as well as all of other Schaeferless Productions YouTube poops. This one just happened to be my favorite from him from 2017.
Do you remember that little talk we had about personal hygiene?
It's okay, Squidward. I'm a fish.
You're coming with us. Please, Mr. Holmes.
I can't help but feel bad for number one. I mean, he has nearly 7 times the subscriber count that I do, plus he has an editing job with game theory and film theory, but I think a lot of people in the YTP community just kind of remember him as that guy that made that shitty Frozen YouTube poop that blew up back when Frozen YouTube poops were a thing. And a lot of people don't realize how good his editing actually is.
Don't do that.
Do what?
The look.
Look.
You're doing the look again.
I can't see it, can I? It's my face?
Yes, and it's doing a thing. I find the face so annoying.
This is technically a compilation of 3 previously released YouTube poops, but since all of them were made by number one in 2017, and this was uploaded by number one and it has YTP in the title, I'm just considering it as one YouTube poop. If you prefer, you can just consider this a 3-way tie between the 3 schlock YouTube poops.
I see Robbie pulling the cage up in a tree.
Not on the beach!
like jazz?
This YouTube poop is absolutely packed with memes and references, but not quite so much that it feels like it's too much. At least not for me.
Here's Bobby. Hi. Who are you?
I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm
A real villain?
Hey, wait a minute.
I can see that I will have to travel back in time.
Oh, let's try something else.
There's a lot of well-edited, funny jokes all throughout the video, but for whatever reason, this is the one that gets me every time.
Hey, look what I made!
These drunk little children, we're gonna season him up real good. We used to go out to the Girl Scout camp. I don't think anybody will notice if one little tiny Girl Scout is missing, if I just chase one real quick.
This one's a fairly simple YouTube poop, technically speaking, but for what it is, it's a very entertaining YouTube poop, and if you like Master Josh's stuff, you're definitely gonna like this one.
Y'all probably know me well enough now to know that this is my favorite angel blooded sacrifice. Got it hot and bubbly. Rub those seasonings into his skin. Oh, they smell so delicious.
Cover-ups, cover-ups, cups, smur-ups. You think this is conspiracy theory? Think again.
Right, it'll no longer be conspiracy theory. It'll be conspiracy theory.
And now I think it's conspiracy theory.
If you haven't watched Patooey's YTPs before, you need to change that right away. His style is, I would say, most comparable to The Things 1. So if you enjoyed The Things 1's YouTube poops, you should like Patooey's YouTube poops as well. This one's just full from start to finish with quotable sentence mixing jokes, and all of them are great.
I have talked to so many high people who were in contact with rich, former government, rich, CIA, NSA, IRA, USA, YMCA, CNSA. From our research, what we've determined is something, Illuminati.
This Paul McCartney-looking guy is Paul McCartney.
Trip to the charge, wormy. Behold my butt.
Oh, that ass.
Behold! This only blooms every 100 years.
In 100 years?
Oh, shut up.
This YouTube poop, despite the fact that it's 10 minutes long, it doesn't feel too long. It's very entertaining all the way through and definitely worth watching from start to finish.
My cart broke and the stones are heavy.
We must push, little cart!
But I could also use my magic to blow. It would have taken the strength of 100 goblins to build a house this fast. Fuck you, sir. And fuck you, too, sir.
Welcome, my friend.
Your Majesty, what are you doing here?
Finding myself. I want inner peace.
Your daughter's very concerned. You have to return at once.
This peace is what I strive for. After all I've done, I can't face my Zelda.
What about Link?
What about him? Don't talk about that, boy.
Have some sense, Your Majesty. I know you care about him.
Link can go to hell.
So this is supposedly I Teach Vader's final YouTube poop. And if it is really his last YouTube poop, he definitely went out on a high note. If you haven't seen any of I Teach Vader's previous CDI YouTube poops, you might kind of be missing out on some of the story, but you can still follow along even if you haven't. I really only have two minor problems with this YouTube poop, and they are just kind of nitpicks. But first of all, there is a Phoenix Wright scene near the middle of it. It takes up a pretty good chunk of the YouTube poop, and maybe it's just me, but I don't really find it that entertaining. I mean, it's definitely well edited and well written and whatever. It might just be because I've never played a Phoenix Wright game before, but I'm just not really that interested in it. I tend to kind of skip over that part when I rewatch this video. But I'm sure other people will like it, and definitely when it's your first time watching it, you need to watch through that part. And the second problem I have, which is an even smaller nitpick, is the ending is nothing really that spectacular. It just sort of stops. I mean, that's kind of what I Teach Vader does with a lot of his YouTube poops, is he just kind of ends a video abruptly, but I kind of expected a little bit more with his final YouTube poop. But either way, it's not a huge issue, it's just kind of something I noticed. In the end, I Teach Vader was one of the best CDI YouTube poopers, and in my opinion, the best sentence mixer to ever make YouTube poops. And it really sucks that this is his last video.
Your Majesty, I wish you'd not destroy my stuff.
Don't talk back to me like a dick. It makes me want to shoot you.
Unsupervised parties can lead to disaster. That's why I'm using deviled eggs. This is gonna be the sexiest party ever!
I might be a bit biased with this one since A Guy That Loves Pooping is my younger brother, but I can't not love this YouTube poop. It's definitely my favorite YouTube poop to come from A Guy That Loves Pooping, and one of my favorite SpongeBob YouTube poops to come from 2017.
I hope this doesn't interfere with Store 20. If I don't get back inside soon and restore order, there might not be time for...
Gee, Spots really knows how to party.
I got something stuck in my teeth.
Let's have a look.
Open that hatch.
Brush your teeth at least twice a day.
This is better than steak.
Don't talk with your mouth full.
Alright, two quick things I need to say before I start talking about this one are, number one, I technically prefer MP Carlson's YouTube poop, Filbert Gay Man Faces Evil, but since that's part of a tennis match between me and him, it didn't really seem right to put that on this list. And number two, the original upload of this YouTube poop on MP Carlson's channel has been blocked by DreamWorks, and has been blocked since, I think, August or something like that. I don't know for sure if MP Carlson's going to be re-uploading it, or if he's going to try to work something out with DreamWorks or whatever, but for right now, I have a re-upload of the YouTube poop in this playlist, and if and when NP Carlson sorts things out, I'll get his upload put in the playlist. So for right now, just know when you click this video in the playlist, it's not NP Carlson's channel. Unless he gets it straightened out, then it is NP Carlson's channel. You know what I mean. Check out the video and NP Carlson's channel if you haven't. But anyway, on to my opinion on this YouTube poop. Well, this isn't NP Carlson's best work in my opinion, it's definitely a really good YouTube poop. You can tell that this one was made purely for fun, and there's a lot of more simple edits in here, but they still work really well. And of course, there's a trippy scene at the end, which is very entertaining as well.
I feel like a mile high.
My predator instincts must have kicked in since, I haven't eaten for a while.
Exactly! You never know when those predator instincts are gonna kick in.
Pero ¿cómo me acolito? Estamos haciendo seguir. Dale, por aquí,
It's nice to be kind.
Elmo can't wait to do something kind for somebody.
Well, here's your chance.
I feel bad laughing at some of the jokes in this YouTube poop, but I just can't help it. They're just so well edited, and some of the running jokes get funnier and funnier every time. I really can't say too much about this without giving too much of it away. Just definitely take the time to watch this one.
Oh, me get it, me get it!
Mother's Day delivery for Mrs. Japowski.
Oh, this snicker!
Hi.
I'm Jack. Shut up! And we're here to tell you about the most awesome word in the whole wide world. Fuck you!
You don't see too many YouTube poops nowadays based around Jack Black on Sesame Street, and you see even less good YouTube poops based around Jack Black on Sesame Street. This, however, is one of those exceptions, because this is a really, really good YouTube poop. Also, as an interesting side note, Melee Mario 720 also made a PG edit of this YouTube poop that got rid of all the profanity and the violence, which is entertaining enough to watch after you've watched the original, just to kind of see what was changed.
With karate, I'll kick your ass. From here to right over there. Bitch!
A slow day at the Krusty Krab.
Where's Mr. Krabs?
I'm Mr. Krabs!
Mr. Krabs is dead.
What?
What color is my diarrhea?
Blue!
Fuck!
This is the only YouTube poop on this list that's age restricted, and yeah, I can honestly see why.
I'm serious, Squidward. Mr. Krabs is a retard. Hey, Mr. Krabs!
What is it, Bob?
Squidward's father raped him.
Yes, I suppose that is rather sad, but Squidward can kill himself during his break.
If you're not offended by explicit humor, or better yet, if you actually find that to be hilarious, then you're gonna love this YouTube poop.
A monster!
That's not a monster, Mr. Krabs. It's Squidward.
Get rid of it!
I can help it along.
Oh no! It's dangerous in there! What's so funny?
Are you crazy, Cree? You could hit his head.
Yeah!
Oh, a little smack on the back of the head never hurt anyone.
You ravenous reptile!
The majority of this YouTube poop consists of Luigi and Yoshi talking over Dinosaur Adventure. For as simple as a premise as that is, it's very well made with some really great sentence mixing and funny jokes. Plus, the beginning and ending of the video are really great as well.
Oh, do I have to go to bed so soon?
Well, like they say in Brook, maybe the kidnappers took her there. Or it's a trap!
The bomb's good.
Hey, that's not food!
Yoshi gangsta.
The U.S. is uniquely Irish. German Congress officially recognized it as Kentucky, a Scottish nation, in late 18th century French Congress.
To Things One, back at it again with another Wow It's Made YTP, and honestly I think this one's probably better than the first two combined. There's just a lot of really great quotes in here and a lot of really funny sentence mixing jokes. This might be my new favorite To Things One YouTube poop.
They pump the bass a pipe. Jam, work it out. Jam, pump the bass. Jam, all around. Jam, pump the pipe.
Let's go to your screen, you know better than that. I come around when you
cut the rap.
Clouds? 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 Clouds?
Anyone who tries to say YTP is not art has clearly never watched an Aliantos video before. I didn't say anything about his video on my 2016 list, instead just showing a clip from it, but one of the things I was going to say that I'll say this year is Aliantos really pays very close attention to sound design in his YouTube poops, which is something that I think a lot of YTPers take for granted. I honestly wouldn't be the least bit surprised if he records his own sound effects because a lot of them seem to just fit in perfectly for what they're there for, and I can't imagine them being used anywhere else. It's kind of hard to explain, but I think you'll understand what I'm talking about when you watch his videos.
Get in the box. Get. In. The box.
Yeah, we're with the pet hospital down the street, and I understand you have a dying animal on the premises.
No,
I'll get them a thumb.
Just go. Ready yet?
Funnily enough, I really can't think of anything specific to say about this video. All I can really say is that I think this is probably my new favorite Trudermark YouTube poop. If you've liked any of Trudermark's YTPs at all in the past, you'll definitely enjoy this YouTube poop.
Holy crap! This frozen cephalopod should be cremated!
Alright, full disclosure before I get into this one, this is technically a YouTube Poop collab, which I was not taking YouTube Poop collabs into consideration when making this list, but considering the type of collab this is, I'm going to make an exception. This is a story-based YouTube Poop collab that was made in the style of Chinese Whispers, which I guess is the non-US way of saying the telephone game. Basically what happened is it started with Nintendo 64 making a story-based YouTube poop ending on a cliffhanger and uploading that as an unlisted video. He then sends that to the next person who continues the story, ends it in a cliffhanger, uploads it as unlisted, sends it to the next person, and so on until you get to the end, and you combine it all into one big story. For that reason alone, I think this video earns a top spot, but on top of all that, it's just a really fun and entertaining YouTube poop to watch. I think I've probably watched this video close to 10 times, and I never rewatch YouTube poops that many times. It's just fun to rewatch and try to imagine what must have been going through each pooper's minds when they were trying to make their part, because they could only see the last entry. I think even if you hate CDI YouTube poops, you hate Michael Rosen YouTube poops, you hate story-based YouTube poops, this is still worth the watch just for how unique it is. And I have no doubt at all that we'll be seeing more collabs like this going on in the future. And after all of that, if you do for some reason have a problem with me putting a collab at the #1 spot on this list, just pretend that the honorable mention that I put on this list was number 50 and the previous entry on here was number 1. But as for me, I consider this to be my favorite YouTube poop from 2017.
I can't move. Great. I'm going to die because of your stupid sandwich shit. I don't believe it. I really... No.
It's time to stop!
What are you doing?
And so that was my top 50 favorite YouTube poops from 2017. I'm going to try to keep this outro short, but please make sure that you watch the playlist, and even if you don't watch every single YouTube poop all the way through, at least give each one a chance. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. I'm always open to feedback. Like, for next year, do you think I should do another big list like this, or do you think I should try to narrow it down to like a top 25 or 20 or maybe even a top 10 list? And if there were some YouTube poops from 2017 that didn't make this list that you feel like should have made this list, feel free to link them below in the comments and I'll check them out. Even if it's one of your own videos, don't be afraid to self-promote. I'll watch all the videos that are linked in the comments. Although, disclaimer, I can't guarantee that I'm gonna like all of them, just that I will get around to watching all of them. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. More importantly, hope you're gonna enjoy the YouTube poops, and I'll see you with another list for 2018 next year.